don't have a dad. And I don't have a mom. I'm an orphan.
Boy Meets World, a popular 90s sitcom that's known for its realistic portrayal of growing up. Whether it's the awkwardness of middle school or facing the challenges of college, this show aged alongside its characters. Packed full of lessons delivered by characters like Mr. Feeny, who always seemed to have the perfect piece of advice just when it was needed. But would you believe that one character just broke this entire show? Did the story actually go downhill because of one character, or did it allow for a deeper, stronger connection to these characters over time? At first, Boy Meets World was your typical episodic sitcom. Problems were introduced and solved neatly within a single episode. But as the show aged, so did the characters. This allowed us to go beyond the simply funny, linear storytelling and move into something much more complex. One character in particular broke that mold. Shawn Hunter, Corey's best friend, began to show deeper layers of his personality. His ongoing struggles with family issues and identity transformed the show's tone. Suddenly, it became a series that wasn't afraid to explore pain and growth in a meaningful way. So, let's dive in and discuss Shawn Hunter's personality shift that split the fans in two. First up, let's talk about how Boy Meets World actually started. When the show premiered on ABC back in 1993, it wasn't trying to change the world or make anyone cry. Oh no. It was just a fun sitcom about a regular kid named Corey Matthews with some typical teenage problems. Homework, convincing his parents to give him some freedom, and trying to stay out of trouble. Basically, it was like hanging out with your middle school friends. Awkward, chaotic, and always good for a laugh. Shawn Hunter was there too, of course, but he wasn't the emotional tornado that we'd come to know him as later. He was your classic sitcom sidekick. A little bit wild, always ready to make bad decisions, and usually dragging Corey along for the ride. And the trouble with teachers? Well, that's Shawn's fault. Breaking the rules? Probably Shawn again. And Mr. Feeny? Oh, he was the wise teacher you could count on to pop up with a lesson about life, but he wasn't there to get deep. He'd drop a quick moral at the end of the episode, and there you go, everything is fine once again.
If there's one thing I've taught you is that there is a line between teacher and student that must never be crossed.
But now let's have a closer look at how Shawn's personality had started to change. At first, Shawn Hunter was the classic bad boy with a charming smile and a talent for getting into trouble. He played the role of the cool and super popular best friend that every TV show seemed to have. Shawn was the opposite of Corey Matthews. He was brave and always ready for a brand new adventure. But behind all of the fun and the carefree attitude, Shawn was dealing with a lot of pain.
All my life, I have felt like there was some part of me missing. And I felt like everybody could tell. You know, like there was some hole in me and everyone could see through it. Like I wasn't finished or something.
Even in the early seasons, his unpredictable behavior would hint at struggles that he was facing at home. Shawn's father, Chet, was always searching for brand new jobs and chasing big dreams. He was rarely ever home, and Shawn's mom, Virna, was also not around all that much. Because of this, Shawn had spent a lot of time taking care of himself. He often turned to the Matthews family for comfort and support. Mr. Feeny, their teacher, also gave them advice when they needed it. But even with their help, Shawn still felt like he didn't belong. He hid his feelings of being abandoned and scared behind his cool and confident personality, and these struggles were always there, even if they weren't easy to see at first. By the middle seasons, Shawn's struggles became harder to hide. Things got even more intense in seasons 4 and 5 when his problems couldn't be covered up by his fun-loving attitude anymore. And when his mother disappeared again, it would push Shawn over the edge, making him feel even more lost and rejected.
None of you want me. Well, that's fine. I don't need any of you. I never needed anybody.
Wanting to have a place where he belonged, he then ended up joining a cult, which showed just how vulnerable that he was. The situation got even worse when Mr. Turner, his mentor, got into a serious accident. This was a turning point for Shawn, making him realize how his choices were affecting not only himself, but also the people who cared about him the most. Still though, Shawn's sense of who he was felt shaky, especially when his half-brother Jack showed up. Jack's arrival made Shawn deal with all of the emotions he had buried about his broken family.
Oh, goody, now I get the lecture from the big brother who I've known all of 6 months.
You don't have a clue, do you?
About what?
About Dad.
Yeah. Dad used to drink, and then he stopped. Next.
And over time, Shawn began to grow closer to Jack and even to Eric Matthews, who was just like a brother to him. These relationships would help Shawn to realize that maybe, just maybe, he could fix the family connections that he thought were gone forever. Another big reason for Shawn's personality change was his relationship with Angela Moore. Angela wasn't like the other girls that Shawn had dated. She showed him that he could have a more meaningful connection with someone. Angela helped Shawn to see that love wasn't about short-term fun that can be done occasionally, but instead, she made him realize that this feeling is about trust and emotional closeness. She encouraged him to face his fears of being left behind and believe in himself. And with Angela, Shawn began to understand himself better and feel stronger about who he was. But just when things seemed to be improving for Shawn, something tragic happened, which turned his world upside down. The death of his father in Season 6. Even though Shawn and his father had a tough relationship, making peace with him before he passed would be a huge moment for Shawn. Losing his dad made him have a hard look at his own life and realize just how shaky his foundation was. The sadness was overwhelming, but instead of letting it take over, Shawn began to move forward.
It's like I'm watching myself do these things that I hate, and I can't stop them.
However, it wasn't as easy as it sounds. The pain from his past was severe, and tough moments like when Corey called him trailer trash had brought all of that back. But instead of letting those moments take him down, Shawn used them to grow. He started to see himself differently, letting go of the labels that others had given him, and learning to accept who he truly was, including all of his flaws. One of the most important moments in Shawn's growth was in his relationship with Angela. When he made the choice to let her go so that she could be with her father and follow her own dreams, it showed just how much he had changed. The younger Shawn might have been too scared of being left behind to do that, but now he acted out of love. Real and selfless love. He put Angela's happiness before his own and proved just how much that he had grown and how all the challenges he faced had made him stronger and more wise. This evolution of Shawn Hunter transformed Boy Meets World from a lighthearted sitcom into a series that wasn't afraid to tackle the hard truths. Shawn taught viewers that growth is messy, healing takes time, and sometimes the strongest thing you can do is just to confront your own pain.
Mom was gone. You and I could have been together. We could have been a family. But you didn't want that.
So, what did this change in Shawn's personality mean for the entire show? Growing as a character, he helped to turn Boy Meets World into something that was much more meaningful and emotional. His struggles made the show stand out from other lighthearted sitcoms, and instead of just being another funny show, it became a deep and touching story about growing up and dealing with real-life problems. You could also see noticeable visual changes. At first, the show looked bright and cheerful, like a typical 1990s family sitcom. But as Shawn's storylines got more serious, the mood would shift. The places that he spent time in began to look darker, with dim lighting and gloomy colors that showed the struggles that he was facing. This would be quite different from Corey's warm and well-lit world.
Angel's in the same place you are.
So it says Feeny. If the sun never sets in the British Empire, when do they watch Letterman?
The music also changed as it went from fun and happy to serious and emotional. These sounds would help to show Shawn's sadness and feelings of being left behind. Instead of just laughing along, viewers were asked to feel the tough moments while also thinking about Shawn's challenges. But perhaps the most powerful shift was in how the show handled its storytelling. Instead of having all of Shawn's problems solved by the end of each episode, his pain would stick around. Shawn's issues with being left behind, dealing with loss, and feeling like he wasn't good enough didn't go away. But instead, they built up and kept coming back in other episodes and seasons. His struggles would cause changes in other characters like Corey, Mr. Feeny, and even how the show used its humor. Corey began to think more deeply, Mr. Feeny became a mentor with more layers to his personality, and the funny moments of the show started to feel much more special, where laughter was mixed in with a touch of sadness. Because the story kept on changing, fans would split into two groups. The first group of people were those who loved the earlier seasons, while on the other hand, the second were those who enjoyed the ending seasons. Fans of the earlier seasons often praise seasons 2, 3, and 4 for capturing what made the show so special. They had the perfect combination of humor, heartwarming friendships, and relatable coming-of-age problems as the characters tackled high school life. The nostalgia, the sharp jokes, and the real-life lessons all made these episodes unforgettable.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go look out the window. I paid a skywriter a lot of money to write, "Corey, I hate you," in the clouds.
Corey, Shawn, and Topanga grew steadily with the support of Mr. Feeny, and fans loved watching their bond deepen. But then the show shifted gears in season 5, and college life would add brand new characters like Jack, brought on different challenges, and had more grown-up feel. Some people thought the later seasons got a little bit too serious or silly, but others really loved them, and that's because those seasons were all about growing up. They dealt with harder topics like change, love, and becoming an adult in a meaningful way. The last episodes, especially the finale, were emotional as the characters left childhood behind in Mr. Feeny's classroom.
But I do know that I'm going to be a good person who cares about people. And I blame you for that.
So then, which group of fans was on the right track? Well, the thing is, both of them are correct, and so are their reactions. That's because both are reacting to two different shows with two different themes. The early seasons of Boy Meets World were all about the ups and downs of adolescence, while the later seasons focused more on the transition into adulthood. So, if you thought Shawn broke the show and you didn't enjoy watching all the seasons, I would recommend a rewatch at least one time. This is the only way to understand that Shawn didn't break Boy Meets World by being a bad character. He broke it by being too real. His struggles, emotions, and experiences often felt raw and honest, which could be tough to process, but also made the show special. So, if you missed out on that connection the first time, it's worth giving the show another try. When you rewatch, make sure to remember that the early seasons are perfect for lighthearted comfort and the fun of growing up with the characters, while on the other hand, the later seasons are full of emotional depth and the challenges of becoming an adult. Now, smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss another great video from us. If you have any recommendations, let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.